Looking forward to this one.
It's my first. I'm thrilled to get this started as we first take a look at our Oklahoma State starting lineup. They are the visiting team in this edition of Bedlam today. Starting lineups brought to you by Shriners Children's, the most amazing care anywhere. While it was a quiet night at the plate last night, they did get a 2-run bomb from Garrett Shull, who stays in the 8-hole. One change to Josh Holliday's starting 9. Sebastian Norman moves into the DH slot after he did not play on Friday. Talk about the OU pitcher, L.J. Mercurius. We saw his younger brother Xander make his OU debut yesterday, and L.J. gets us started, just misses with a fastball, and we're underway. Fastball first down low. That's a changeup high and outside. It was a one-inning debutant for the true freshman Xander Mercurius. Now it's his older brother LJ, who is a top-flight MLB draft prospect transferring in from UNLV. And he finds the zone for the first time. Guy with a big arm. We will see that fastball, Pat, touch 97 if he wants to.
He could float up there. He's got electric stuff, and coming off an outstanding season at UNLV, had a 3.47 earned run average last season. 53 innings, 58 punch-outs. There's that heater.
Starts off by facing Brock Thompson and Oklahoma State.
And you'll see the fastball, Ben, as you talked about, mid-90s. He can touch 97. Really good slider. Low 80s with a 36% whiff rate on that pitch.
There he goes, fastball, and he locks up Thompson on the inside edge. Good start for L.J. Mercurius. Here are the numbers last season at UNLV, a sub-350 ERA. Not easy in a conference like the Mountain West with a whole lot of ballparks at elevation.
There is no doubt. And his off-speed deliveries are just plus. He's got the slider, the low 80s changeup, and also produced about a 41% whiff rate. And he also earned a spot on the USA Baseball Collegiate National Team. This guy is the real deal.
For good reason, as he faces off against Avery Ortiz. Can Oklahoma ride the success they had from opening day's starter, Cameron Johnson, who struck out a career-high 11 across 6 innings? Here it's a fastball just out of the zone, 1-1. Meanwhile, Oklahoma State certainly happy to have the quick turnaround when you get run ruled like they did against a really good Arkansas team last night. It was 95% Arkansas fans in here. Wave and a miss on the slider, and it's 1-2. So they certainly welcome the turnaround and the opportunity to face it against the old familiar foe and rival in the Oklahoma Sooners. As the 1-2 cracked out to right center, hit well, but it hangs up there for Nolan Stevens to make the catch. 2 up, 2 down in the first.
Well, Josh Holliday loving to have Avery Ortiz back in the lineup. Missed a lot of last season with injury and makes solid contact there.
Look at the Oklahoma defense. They were really solid yesterday, Pat. Didn't make an error in the field. Jason Walk running down a couple balls out there in center. Stevens solid in right. And Jackson Willits is the high-level prospect back for his 3rd season as starting shortstop. Colin Ritchie right into that makeshift deep right field position there for Kyle Branch. Not a complete shift, but Branch was positioned perfectly, handles it on the short hop. And L.J. Mercurius needs just 10 pitches to get through a clean top half of the first. Oklahoma coming up for the first time after the Pokes go down in order 1, 2, 3. Here's a look at the Oklahoma lineup brought to you by Shriners Children's, the most amazing care anywhere. No changes for Skip Johnson after they poured across 10 runs on opening day against Texas Tech. Started that game slow, just 3 of 17, but 3 homers in the final 4 innings from the 6, 7, and 8 hole. Brendan Brock, a grand slam to put the game away. Trey Gamble and Dayton Taki each hit 2-run bombs, with Jason Walk leading it off, who is a fiend on the base paths, and he was very active yesterday. He shows bunt and takes a ball upstairs from Mario Pesca, who found his way into the starting rotation, Pat, midway through last season and was really good coming back from a sub-4 ERA in Big 12 play, and he gets the ball once again on a Saturday.
Yeah, outstanding stuff from Pesca. Just a really polished mix of that low 90s fastball, slider, change, cutter mix. But made some great improvements with pitching coach Blake Hawksworth. Lost 20 pounds. He's more athletic. Just brings a great presence to the mound. Absolutely great command from Pesca.
You wouldn't go as far as to say you can't recognize him from last year, because he is 6'8", the big man from the Bronx, but he has trimmed himself down. He's really refined the command. It was the big storyline of the offseason. Finds the zone here on 3-0.
And creating much more explosiveness with that fastball, really using that lower body better. Made some great tweaks in the fall with Hawksworth. And the fastball last season would sit upper 80s. He touched 90. Now he's sitting low 90s with it.
And a walk as this fastball runs outside. You know, it's funny we say he's sharpened up the command in the offseason. It's what you were talking about, Pat, more of the in the zone command, because he was one of the best in the country as far as limiting walks. You see the numbers from last year. A 6.5% walk rate and a ground ball rate of nearly 60%. So he certainly did a good job for the most part. They certainly feel like he can even go another level up.
That's exactly right. And yeah, we talk about the walk rate, and what did he do in Bedlam? Walks the leadoff hitter. Right? So like I said, you can throw those records out the window, man.
No doubt.
Just a little bit of motion bringing to the mound. Pesca's got to settle in quickly here against this Oklahoma lineup.
They fake the steal, and a pitch misses inside. 5 of the first 6 balls here as Camden Johnson digs in.
Yeah, Johnson with a good day yesterday. A couple of hits for OU, and as we've seen with Skip Johnson making some shifts in this lineup. Last year you saw at the top of the order it was Kyle Branch, and you know, he had a number of guys that could fit in that 2-3-4 role. Jackson Willits. Well, this year Jason Walk now leading off, and like you talked about, that elite speed, might be one of the fastest guys in college baseball.
Tied for the team lead with 18 stolen bases. See if he's on the move here. We're just underway, 1-1 count. Not a shock to see Pesca take a look over there at first.
Yeah, these top 2 players for the Sooners, when Walk and Camden Johnson, bring just a ton of speed. Then he kind of sets the table for some big power bats coming up in LaChance and Willits.
We found out, even though it was late in the game, Pat, what Oklahoma can do when they start to get a little momentum in that lineup. Started the 3 of 17 for the game, but 6 of their last 16 at the plate, 3 homers. They were all no doubters.
Yeah, came late, but came often.
It's in there for a called strike. Going changeup here from Pesca, and it's 1-2 to Camden Johnson, who had a couple of base knocks, scored 2 runs yesterday. See that in the zone movement from our flow tracker. #350th meeting all time. That is as a Division I sport. There were several meetings, 36 of them, when these teams were playing in club baseball way back when. This one's fouled back, but a whole lot of history. You're talking almost 100 years now, Pat. We're looking at 91 since they first squared off in 1935.
Yeah, tremendous history, and that's what makes this series so special. It's obviously the 2 big Division I Oklahoma schools, but you know, with such great baseball histories from both sides.
The 1-2 fouled off.
Yeah, Pesca known as a ground ball type pitcher, 58% ground ball rate. It's just that great mix of off-speed pitches, and oftentimes hitters have a tough time trying to stay even with the baseball and tend to swing over the top a lot of the change-ups and off-speed deliveries.
He was somewhat of an unknown coming in last year as a transfer. I remember talking to Coach Holliday last spring when we were set to watch him make his debut, and he was just happy about the towering presence and the kind of interesting arm slot. Even though he's so big, it's like, look, this is a guy with a high 3/4 slot. He's really deceptive, had good numbers at St. John's. Gets a swing and a miss here. There is that arm slot on display as the slider comes inside on Johnson.
Yeah, no doubt. And what he's really worked on and become really solid at is just tunneling those pitches through the same arm slot.
Meanwhile, behind Pesca in defense, Oklahoma State did have 1 error last night. It was a costly one. Avery Ortiz made it for OSU in the field, led to a 3-run inning for Arkansas. Outside that, it is a solid unit. Colin Brigham over at first. Aiden Miola, returner at third base. T.P. Wentworth, they've been glowing about his addition. The two-way player transferring in from Clemson anchors the outfield and right.
Yeah, great speed in center field with Colin Ritchie. He can flat go get the baseball, and the returning middle of the infield. And even though Ortiz made the error, he is pretty slick with that glove at shortstop.
Still made some great plays last night. Wave and a miss. There's the slider, gets LaChance out in front, who made his debut for OU yesterday. 1 for 4, the McLennan JUCO transfer.
And that's exactly what makes Pesca so difficult to square up. He'll throw the off-speed any count, any time. He just has great command and feel for those off-speed deliveries. And talk about pitching at this level, the Division I baseball, and he's got it all. He really has great makeup. Again, not overpowering, but really hard to set up on a fastball when he's got so many off-speed deliveries to choose from.
Just outside, 2-1. Mario Pesca. He really is New York through and through. It's Mario, not Mario, first off. What do you think his favorite TV show is, Pat?
Oh, man. Put me on the spot here. I don't know.
Sopranos.
Of course.
New York through and through. I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
That's
He's
good.
a big Sopranos guy.
I like it.
From the Bronx, he goes to St. John's. Stayed local. His nickname, I won't put you on the spot here, I'll just say it. His nickname is Big Mo.
Big Mo, that works.
I mean,
yep.
we are like 5 for 5 so far.
Well, Sopranos, and I imagine The Godfather's right up there with it.
High fly ball will drift foul into the seats. You know, first team All Big East. Was a sub-3 ERA guy at St. John's in his second season. Had some ups and downs as a freshman, but you talk about that arm slot and that command of the fastball and slider really came to him as a sophomore with the Red Storm, and that's what got him on Josh Holliday's radar.
And you saw just an example of that. 2-1 advantage count for LaChance, behind on a 90-mile-an-hour fastball. And that fastball plays up with his repertoire.
3-2 to LaChance. Runner goes. It is down low. Just misses for ball 4. A pair of walks in this bottom of the first sets up Jackson Willis.
Yeah, very uncharacteristic of Pesca so far.
It was a slow start yesterday for Jackson Willits, 0 for his first 4, but drove in 2 in his last AB, part of a 5-run ninth for OU, and he takes a big hack here at a slider. Quickly a tough spot for the Pokes. They got behind early, gave up a 2-run homer in the first to Ryder Helfrich in Arkansas last night, put them in a difficult spot against a great pitcher. Pokes trying to get out of this one as the count runs to 1-1.
Yeah, Willits a junior team leader, great captain. Of course, Skip Johnson says takes right after his dad, who's assistant coach with OU, Reggie Willits. Great professional career for him.
Pop-up foul off the bat of Willits. It's not like you look at Willits and think it's just super overpowering physically at the plate, but he's always had, even going back to his freshman days when we talked with Josh Holliday about him, with Skip Johnson about him, he said, look, the baseball IQ, just ability to position himself well in the field, it has always stood out since he was 16, 17. This ball gets to the backstop on a fastball coming upstairs, and now more trouble for OSU as Walk moves to third and LaChance down to second.
It looked like Pesca was reaching back for a little bit more on that fastball. Just overthrew it. It's by Campbell Smithwick. Able to get a glove on it, just could not get to the top of that pitch. And you know, a couple of RBIs sitting out there for Willits.
Big spot early, 2-2. Runners on second and third with 1 out. Cracked foul again. Peska only had one game all of last year where he walked more than 2 batters. He's already walked 2 here in the bottom of the first, and that game was more just due to the longevity. He went 8 strong in a win at Baylor, shut down the Bears. I think you were calling that game, Pat.
I did.
The 4 walks didn't really feel like he was struggling with command.
I think he gave up all of 1 hit in that game.
4-0 win in that one for OSU. But he misses outside, and it is a full count. Do have first base open here with Nolan Stevens on deck.
Yeah, first base open. See if Peska tries to avoid the damage with Willits.
Punched hard to the right side. That'll get the job done. It is down. Diving attempt by Wentworth, who can't get there. Willits with a double. Walk-in LeChancer in, and OU strikes first in Bedlam.
Well, probably an ill-advised pitch from Peska. Got first base open. Gave him a pitch out over the middle plate, and that's a pitch that Jackson Willits typically doesn't miss. And he barrels it up into the gap. Looked like Wentworth had a shot at it. Made a diving attempt, just came up a bit short. Back up there by center fielder Colin Ritchie to get the ball back in, but not before a double off the bat of Willits with a couple of RBI to start.
0 for 4 start for Willits, and now back-to-back plate appearances going back to yesterday, driving in 2 runs apiece. As Nolan Stevens takes the ball down and in.
And part of the problem for Peska so far is just falling behind hitters. You do that with a great lineup with Oklahoma, and it's just not a good formula for success.
Wave and a miss here. It almost feels like the slider's been the more reliable of the 2 pitches. Fastball commands just let him down a little bit.
Yeah, he's keeping that slider down in the zone, and unfortunately missing up and out over the plate with a number of his fastball deliveries. And look, that's what can happen. You know, first start of the season, you got the adrenaline flowing. It's a Bedlam game, probably the earliest Bedlam game we've ever seen in this series. Second game of the season. Really hard to get that excitement under control, and Peska needs to find it quickly.
6'8" righty looks in. Already 2 runs in on the double by Willits. Punch to the right side. That's Thompson over there to make the play. Much needed second out for OSU as Willits moves to third. And Brendan Brock comes up, who made his debut a memorable one, didn't he, Pat? Grand slam to put the cherry on top for Oklahoma's 10-3 win yesterday.
Yeah, sure did. And what a luxury for Skip Johnson. Of course, Brock brings a ton of athleticism. You know, you'll see him behind the dish at some point this season. The transfer from Southwestern Illinois College, and just a great athlete, very versatile. Of course, supplying a ton of power, as we saw it on display yesterday.
Takes a called strike. It's in on him. Jam shot that's popped up into shallow left center. Ortiz out to make the catch. And the first inning comes to an end, but not before Jackson Willits in the 350th edition of Bedlam puts OU on the board first. A 2-run double, and the Sooners have an early 2-0 lead. We head to the second inning, an early 2-0 lead for Oklahoma. Oklahoma State tied with Kansas for 5th of this year's Big 12 preseason poll. We'll have TCU, the preseason favorites, in our nightcap tonight against Arkansas. Cowboys were the preseason favorites last year, then had to endure a really tough year. So many injuries up and down the lineup. They had to scratch and claw just to make it to a regional, the NCAA tournament. Coach Josh Holliday so happy with how they finished last year and was tremendously impressed with this team's resilience. Now they come back, and I think kind of like the position they're in here, Pat, a little bit more unheralded in this 2026 campaign.
Yeah, no doubt. A ton of pride from Josh Holliday on our coach's call, and he said that was a team that, if you remember correctly, was 7 and 11 going into kind of the middle of that Big 12 conference play, and boy, did they turn it around. The last 3 conference series, swept a couple of those, just got in with an outside bid on the NCAA regionals, and went down to Athens, almost won that Athens regional, losing to Duke, but lost one of their key starters before that first game of the series, and I think had they not lost him, that would have been a much different story for Josh Holiday. But a team that really recovered throughout the season last year with all those injuries you mentioned, Ben, and those wildfires in Stillwater too. That was just a whole other mess.
Absolutely.
Displacing a few of their players.
2-1 count here to Aiden Miola, one of the many players who got hurt throughout last year. Just 13 games. They didn't think he'd be with the team now, but able to get the extra season in Stillwater, and he works the count to 3-1. It was Sean Youngerman who was the top draft pick from the pitchers last year. Went to the 4th round.
That's right.
Second team All Big 12 taken by Philadelphia, your old team, and he got scratched just a couple days before that regional opener against Duke.
A big-time arm, and unfortunate for Youngerman, but bigger and better things for him. And for Aiden Miola coming back, 5th-year senior, great leader. Takes the walk, first poke runner on base.
Just 10 pitches in that first inning for L.J. Mercurius, but Miola gets the walk, and now Colin Brigham, who did hit a homer. He was responsible for the only Cowboy run in last year's Bedlam. They played this game on a midweek last year, so sort of an interesting spot scheduling-wise, right, Pat? It was in the heart of conference play for both teams. They were each kind of struggling, swinging a miss here. Yet, obviously, with so much pride in a rivalry, you wanted to go all out and win that game, but it was Oklahoma who got a 5 spot in the first, won at 11-1 in a run rule. That was right in the middle of all those injuries for Oklahoma State when they were really scruffling. They fake the run at first, and it's a ball inside. 1-1 to Brigham.
Well, Jay Mercurius just zipped through that first inning. Only took about 8 pitches, but just like his counterpart, struggling with a fastball command here in the second.
Chopped foul as he goes to the changeup. Good battle here between Colin Brigham, preseason All Big 12, and the second team All Mountain West pitcher in L.J. Mercurius, who had a complete game against the ultimate best team in that conference, their big rival for UNLV. Nevada had 12 punch-outs and a complete game shutout. A lot of life on that fastball, but it runs inside, 2-2.
Yeah, Brigham, one of those returning 5th-year seniors, and benefited the Diego Pavia rule, and got that extra year. And Josh Holiday could not be more happy to have him back in the lineup. Got some veterans like Ortiz, Ritchie, Miola, and Brigham, and some really good young faces this Oklahoma State roster.
Works the count to 3-2, especially when you had nearly half the roster departing from last year. From the starting hitting perspective, Nolan Schubert was the top draft pick from the hitters, 3rd round at Cleveland, honorable mention All Big 12. Well, they've got Brigham back. Runner goes. Chopped through the wickets, that deflects and into the netting there after hitting Dayton Taki. Results in an infield single for Brigham. Miola goes first to third, and the Cowboys are in business.
Yeah, that ground ball was scorched off the bat of Brigham, and Taki, of course, holding Miola on at first base. Jumps off the bag and just could not quite square the body up, and that ball arrived quickly on Dayton Taki. And looked like he just barely got his glove down. Could not make the catch, and it's going to result in Miola making it all the way over to third base.
In some ways, a bad break there for Taki. Just trying to knock that ball down, and it caroms all the way near the dugout. So Sebastian Norman, who didn't play yesterday, now a chance to make a big impact in his first AB. Healthy hack and a miss for the freshman coming in, Sebastian Norman.
Yeah, big physical presence in this lineup, and just a big talent. And Josh Holiday giving him a shot here in this Bedlam Classic.
Called strike, 0-2. How would you like this spot to make your collegiate debut?
Yeah, right. Thrown right in the fire. Why not?
27 underclassmen on the roster this year for Oklahoma State. Coach Holliday telling us he was so excited to see how his young guys in particular handled the really tough opening season schedule. Fastball just misses the outside edge.
You saw Brendan Brock, the OU catcher, set up outside and just missed that corner. It's a good 0-2 setup pitch. See if he comes back with the slider.
Good job just to catch a piece. It's so hard to lay off that slider, especially if you're a righty. Looks like it's starting right in the breadbasket for you, and it just zooms out of the zone.
A great job by Norman. Just get a piece of that, keep the at-bat alive. OU defense playing back, double play depth. They'll concede the run if Norman can put it in play.
Back to the slider, though. And this time, Mercurius gets the wave and a miss for his second strikeout.
Big K there from Mercurius. Keeps that double play in order, and it's a huge strikeout. See that pitch start middle away and just duck down out of the strike zone, and Norman swings over the top of it.
Based on our flow tracker, that on a 1-2 pitch pat's about as good as you can do placement-wise.
That's exactly where you want to throw it.
Campbell Smithwick made his Oklahoma State debut yesterday. Foul tip for the new catcher brought over from Ole Miss. They brought in Smithwick, especially for spots like this, where Oklahoma State, they were susceptible to the strikeout last year with runners in scoring position.
Got him.
This ball hits him, yeah. 94 miles an hour with the fastball, and it tags Campbell Smithwick to load the bases for Garrett Shull.
And just catches a piece of that elbow guard and go fastball inside. It's a good setup after that changeup first pitch delivery, and just kind of pulled that pitch in, and Smithwick will take it, take the base, and load him up.
You can hear it. Obvious hit by pitch off the guard, and now what a spot for Garrett Shull. The only offense last night for Oklahoma State, 2-run homer. It's a fastball on the inner half. A highly heralded freshman last year. Did struggle at times putting the ball in play, a near 40% strikeout rate. But he still hit .314. This was a guy with a big amount of pop.
Yeah, got the fastball there. Couldn't pull the trigger. On a bunch of the plate, but Curious quickly out in front.
Goes change up down in the dirt. To correct myself, 250 last year for Shull. Then he hit over 300 in the summer ball portion of his campaign. Went to the Appalachian League.
Yeah, did a good job of cutting down the strikeouts, and one of the things that he placed a lot of emphasis on, just more bat to ball skills, and especially cutting that swing down with 2 strikes. See if he can do it here.
On low and inside. Not a shock that we're only in the second inning, game number 2 of the season yet. It just feels like a big game when you have Bedlam, Oklahoma State, Oklahoma. Early 2-0 lead for the Sooners, but the bases full of pokes. Wave and a miss. Pulls the string with a changeup.
Yeah, just a great pitch sequence there by Mercurius, and that's oftentimes when you look at a young pitcher, you want to see what does he do, how does he react with situations like this, and just in attack mode with all 3 of his pitches there, and at time pulls the string and has Shull way out in front. A couple of big strikeouts.
And now TP Wentworth in the 9-hole. Big wave and a miss, 0-1. Who nearly made an incredible play out there in right center on the full sprint layout. It was just out of his reach, though, on a hard ball hit to the gap in that bottom of the first inning there from Oklahoma's Jackson Willits. Now Runs to 1-1 on Wentworth, transferring in from Clemson, who we saw make his college debut here last season. Three strikeouts already for Mercurius. Misses with the changeup, 2-1.
Yeah, good read there by Wentworth. Seeing that changeup delivery well below the strike zone, but oftentimes a pitch that you'll chase.
In there for a called strike 2. Couple of big-time transfers squaring off here. Swing and a foul tip held onto. Brock brings it in, and Mercurius strikes out 3 in the inning to get out of a jam. Still 2-0 Oklahoma to the bottom of the second. Just handling this moment here, getting to face their rival, a lot of them for the first time today.
Yeah, it's an awesome setting, obviously. Thrilled to be inside. As much as it's raining outside, there wouldn't be a baseball game outside today, so can't get much better than this. Obviously, it's a great place to play and great opponent, and we're facing a live arm, so just got to keep working. Had a couple opportunities there in the top and couldn't get the ball in play, so we need a 0 here and then keep hacking away at it.
Hey, Josh, Pat Combs here. I think we came into the league about the same time. You coaching me broadcasting, seeing a lot of these Bedlam games. What a great atmosphere to do it in. Hey, I want to talk about the pitching situation, and especially in your coaching staff. You know, Rob Walton leaving staff this year. I know a great friend of yours came in with you. But what has Blake Hawksworth and Trey Cobb brought to your staff?
Yeah, you know, Rob and I came to Oklahoma State within 48 hours of each other, and had a great run. Enjoyed working with him every single day. And Blake's been awesome. You know, he's come in here and formed really good relationships with our guys. And you mentioned Trey on staff in a pitching strategy role. There's a lot of information out there nowadays when it comes to, you know, pitching and developing pitchers. And you got a lot of pitching staffs that are 18, 19 guys deep in terms of numbers. So it didn't make a lot of sense to always have one guy working with the pitching. So they're a good team. But Blake, as our pitching coach, has done a great job. It's a lot of kids to learn, a lot of different backgrounds to learn. And then obviously the instruction that goes into developing each guy. They're all a little different, right? Tall guys, shorter guys, sinker guys, four-seam guys, and nowadays there's all kinds of new pitches. So tons of work, but he's an excellent student of the game and a very good teacher.
Yeah, that's great, Josh. And I know you went through a great process to get Blake to come over. It's a great legacy with Rob, and I know he'll be missed. One thing I wanted to ask you about Bedlam. What's been your favorite moment in Bedlam history? As you've been a part of this program for a long time as a player and a coach, but what's been your favorite moment? One stick out?
Oh, I think probably just for me, I've had a lot of different views on it. Had the view as a little boy in the stands watching, and that was always fun. All the great players on both sides. Then had the unique experience to play in it for 4 years, which is something that, you know, a lot of memories from the playing side. And then now having coached in it, I've seen it from all angles. I know there's always been a level of energy and attention placed on the game. That was always something fun. You know, in the state of Oklahoma, football is a big deal. But in the springtime, when Oklahoma and Oklahoma State play, baseball takes center stage. So it was just the energy. It was the packed crowds in Oklahoma City at All Sports Stadium. You know, it was when it moved around from Tulsa to Oklahoma City and now back to campuses. And obviously it's a little different now. No longer in the same conference, but we're still playing each other on a yearly basis. And then this unique opportunity to play here in this tournament, which, you know, is unique. We've never played each other this early. So I'd say it's a pretty deep history, Pat, of all the things that I love about it. And there's just been so many moments. I mean, there were some moments that used to be pretty unfriendly back in the day that had a lot of highlights.
Right.
And so I observed those. And then, but no, it's great baseball. They got an excellent ball club, and we enjoy competing.
You got the healthy perspective. We're just happy to have it here today, Josh. Really appreciate the time as always. Thanks so much.
Okay, thank you.
So after a walk to start the inning, a little flare that will fall, and a third run coming in for Oklahoma. Trey Gamble stole second on that strikeout by Taki, and now he comes home as Kyle Branch drives him in with a single.
Yeah, a bit of a manufactured run there. The leadoff walk to Gamble, and able to swipe second base, and it just set the table for Kyle Branch. We talked about the luxury that Skip Johnson has, having Kyle Branch at the bottom of this lineup, almost like an additional leadoff guy. But big-time run producer last year for the Sooners and doing it again in 9-hole.
A good move. They got Branch leading the wrong way, and he is gunned down.
Yeah, great move by Mario Pesca. And some quick feet for a 6'8" guy, right?
Oh, yeah.
How about that? Yeah, excellent pickoff move, and definitely had Branch taking that extra step and had him leading the wrong way, and the tag applied by Brigham.
Yeah, I feel good for Mario. Been a tough start from a command perspective. More walks already than all but one appearance last season. With a dangerous hitter at the plate, too. Good to get Walk up there now with nobody on and 2 out. Just misses outside here, though, and it's 2-0 to Walk, who hit a grand slam as part of that 11-1 OU win last year in Bedlam. And they went to O'Brate and Stillwater to do that, even though it was a midweek.
I think that pickoff just a testament to the work that Blake Hawksworth has put in with him. And thinking about the pounds that Pesca dropped, don't know if he makes that throw last year, but certainly much more athletic body and build this season, and quick feet on that pickoff.
Finds his own here with the fastball. Yeah, when they talk about explosiveness, it's not just with the velocity. So much else that goes into that. Pickoff moves being one of them. See if that just gets Pesca to settle down a little here. He does just find the inside edge. Good pitch on 3-1, especially with a guy as fast as Walk is. Got him right back to the same spot. Walk takes a called strike 3. Sooners do scratch another run across, though, on an RBI single from Kyle Branch. They lead it 3-0 heading to the 3rd. The Sooners fared year 1 in the SEC, had their ups and downs like many teams do in the toughest conference in college baseball. Were able to still get to a regional, made it to the regional title game where they lost to North Carolina. One of the best batting averages in all of D1. They were tops in the SEC in triples, second in stolen bases. And now they've retooled their entire weekend rotation, lost everybody from the weekend staff, but from what we've seen so far, Pat, Cameron Johnson, electric yesterday. L.J. Mercurius looking really good early here as he works a 1-1 count to Brock Thompson.
Yeah, kind of typical of Skip Johnson, right? Just retools, reloads, plenty of quality arms. And he talked about that on his call, just the depth of arms. Of course, some untested starters, but he said you'll see some guys that are going to bring some absolute electric stuff. We certainly saw it yesterday with Cameron Johnson and today L.J. Mercurius. Very similar in terms of pitches and command. Both guys attacking the strike zone early on and piling up strikeouts as we saw yesterday.
2-2 the count. Skip Johnson there on the left corner of your screen looking on. We'll be joined by him in a little bit.
Calling pitches, and Reggie Willett's the architect of that offense.
Here Brock Thompson loops one up and over the head of Willett's leadoff base hit for the Cowboys in desperate need of a little spark here, down 3-0.
Well, good to see that from Brock Thompson. And coming off a tweaked ankle in the fall, and thought that might limit him in the spring, but he recovered, and really just a catalyst at the top of that lineup. And not a tremendously large build, but popped 8 home runs last year. Great wheels. Look for him to try to pick a pitch to steal here. Even down 3-0 with Thompson's speed, you want to get him to second base.
Swiped 12 of them last year. Big wave and a miss by Ortiz. First pitch slider from Mercurius. It's the sort of confidence he has in that pitch. Back to it, just a little low, and it's 1-1.
Avery Ortiz, unfortunate last year, only played 17 games, missed most of the season with that torn quad. And It really took a spark out of this lineup for Oklahoma State. One of those many injuries you spoke about earlier, Ben, but great to have him back healthy in this lineup.
Takes a healthy hack, 3 sliders to start the AB. And it also was not just a single injury, but it caused their entire infield to be shuffled around last year for Oklahoma State, mid-season no less. So they feel like with that returning production, they've got a really good core. But he goes back to the off speed, and Ortiz unable to make contact. 3 sliders and then a changeup for Mercurius.
Yeah, just some quality off-speed deliveries there. It's so hard when a guy's throwing mid-90s and you tell yourself to stay back, especially 2 strikes. You don't want to be early on those off-speed pitches, but it's so difficult when a guy cranks up that mid-90s fastball to make that adjustment.
5 strikeouts already for Mercurius. And that is if you're tracking at home now. From the 2 starting pitchers yesterday, Cam Johnson, Mercurius today. He just misses with the fastball here to Colin Ritchie. It's 8 1/3 innings, 16 strikeouts.
Wow.
Oh, and no runs. Yeah,
right.
No run, no earned runs.
Little added value there.
Ritchie slicing one foul. And it's 1-1 to Colin Ritchie. Part of that surge at the end that got Oklahoma State in the tournament was predicated on Ritchie's success down the stretch. We did not see him here last year. He missed the first 10 games with a back injury. And Josh Holliday at the time had said, man, just wait till we get Ritchie back in the lineup. What you guys are about to see at Globe Life is not the full lineup. And Ritchie eventually returned. And the last 4 games of the season, he had 5 homers and drove in 10 runs. Takes a fastball for a strike, 1-2.
Yeah, he really is the centerpiece of this lineup, and it's just so easy to build around him. Of course, the power, the speed that he brings to the outfield. Incredible pop in his bat.
Inside with the fastball, and it's 2-2. Mercurius out for a 6th K in his 3rd inning of work. Ritchie easily could have gone to pro ball out of high school. He was drafted by the Orioles, 19th round, decided to come to Stillwater anyway. Wave and a miss. He goes down with that changeup that Mercurius has been dealing with early, already 6 Ks.
Oh, man, piling up the strikeouts with that change piece. And just watch the action on that pitch. It's breaking down and away hard away from a left-hander. That ball starts out pretty much middle of the plate, ends up about a ball and a half off the outside corner. Completely fooled Colin Ritchie, which is difficult to do.
Miola taking a called strike. Every time we have seen that flow tracker with LJ Mercurius, it seems like just what you talked about. Starts middle, ends up a ball and a half off.
That's it. Just so difficult. And the other thing he does, he tunnels those pitches so well. It's just a very consistent delivery. The arm angle's consistent. Really difficult for a hitter to pick up any type of spin off that release point.
Mercurius is rolling right now. Up 0-2 on Miola after the leadoff single to Thompson. Rocket foul keeps the count alive. 0-2 here to Aiden Miola. And how special must this be, though, for the Mercurius family, Neil and Christina, the parents. I got to watch Xander make his college debut yesterday. Came on in the 7th in a tight game. Now LJ, his OU debut today.
That got him.
And he hits him. Yep.
Yeah. Might have missed the pad. I didn't hear too much of a clink off that elbow pad, but
that changeup that runs down and in, but it started on the inner half.
yeah, he kind of got outside of that changeup a little bit. You saw the hand flatten out. Just didn't stay behind that pitch, and it took off up and in, and caught Miola right on the forearm. And that's you can see him kind of wave that arm a little bit. That looked like it missed the pad.
Sooners move 3 to the right side of second base with the power-hitting lefty Colin Briggerman taking a healthy hack right through a fastball.
Yeah, got that fastball up out over the plate. Put a good swing on it, but one of those high spin fastballs, and it's difficult to square it up.
Another big wave and a miss. 35 career homers for Colin Briggerman.
Yeah, just power on power. He's just challenging Briggerman with the fastball.
Chopped fair, nicely handled by Taki. Takes it himself to the bag, and Mercurius works around 2 base runners to record another spotless inning. 6 punch outs for LJ Mercurius, whether it's fastball, slider, or changeup. He's doing it all today. Oklahoma up 3-0 to the bottom of the 3rd. Josh Holliday from OSU earlier. Now we speak with Skip Johnson, 9th-year head man of the Oklahoma Sooners. Coach, looking at a couple of your opening weekend pitchers here. Cameron Johnson, 6 innings, 11 Ks. LJ Mercurius, 6 punch-outs in his first 3. What has impressed you the most here about the starters out of the gates?
He's getting ahead. I mean, he just got to execute some more pitches with 2 strikes, you know, and that's the biggest thing for him. He's just got to execute and be himself.
Yeah, Skip, Pat Combs here. You've got a great lineup. I mean, just so athletic and a ton of power as well. And well, talk about the job that Reggie Willits does with your offense.
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, he understands it. He gets it. He gets a lot out of nothing sometimes. You know, that's what's awesome about Reggie is he's gonna give him a mindset and a mentality, and he's gonna make him learn how to play offense.
Yeah, and Skip, you know, thinking about the Bedlam series, I know you've been a part of some of these classic rivalries when you're coaching at Texas, of course, with OU, now OU with OSU, but what's so special about the Bedlam series for you?
I mean, anything can happen. You know that. I mean, when I was at Texas A&M, anything can happen. I mean, in this series right here, you just don't know. I mean, you can throw everything out the window, so to speak, and you just never know. It's good for the state, and it's good for baseball.
Looking at Camden Johnson right now, Coach. 3-1 count to him, leading off this home half of the 3rd. Seems like a guy who's just been built to perfectly come into your program with what he does. What's his addition been like?
Yeah, I mean, he's really dynamic athlete. He can run. He can do a lot of things. I don't know. He didn't like that too much.
Yeah, he didn't.
He knows the ball strike zone. Yeah. So Mark does a good job, though. I mean, it is what it is.
Skip, can't thank you enough for doing this as always. Appreciate the time. Best of luck rest of the way.
Thank you, guys.
3-2 count here to Camden Johnson as he stays alive. Smart ball coach too, and Skip, you know, seeing the called strike maybe he didn't think was, but then he makes sure to say, you know what, Mark Wager's good home plate umpire. He's a veteran.
You got to balance out those comments.
You never know who's listening.
It's a veteran move right there. Yeah. Of course, Skip Johnson, one of the premier pitching coaches in all of college baseball, and get a chance to talk more about that on this fly out.
Brought in by Garrett Shull out there. A fly out to left to start the bottom of the 3rd, bringing up Deaton LaChance.
You think about the 5 NCAA tourneys, the 22 College World Series final. Of course, OU lost the final there, but man, he is a guy that has coached some incredible talent. Met the 3 Cy Young Award winners, and he was served as kind of a personal pitching coach for guys like Clayton Kershaw and Homer Bailey, Chris Davis. I mean, just an incredibly well thought of coach in this league, and the expertise he brings into the pitching department is second to none.
Resume that speaks for itself, doesn't it? Takes the slider outside. Deaton LaChance, part of a big-time transfer class coming in. Just misses 2-1. 64 analytics. They do a really good job breaking down all these transfers. Now, it's so hard to keep track of everything, Pat, when it feels like half the country's moving to a new team, but they grade all the transfer classes. They had Oklahoma's 10th in the country. And LaChance, a big reason why, as he fouls it off.
No doubt. And one of the bigger names that hit the portal out of the junior college ranks, and Deaton LaChance is really well put together. Great catcher, really runs the pitching staff well, is what Skip tells us. And Developed some great relationships very quickly when he came onto campus. But yeah, the home run power, 21 home runs last season for McLennan Community College.
High chopper foul. Well, not only does Skip Johnson have family who has coached a long time at the JUCO level. His son Tyler was the head man at McLennan while Deaton LaChance was playing there. But Skip himself got his start 12 years at Navarro Junior College in Texas.
That's a guy that worked his way up through the ranks for sure. Skip Johnson has earned it.
3-2 here to LaChance. So I guess it makes sense that he's been able to use the portal so effectively, especially with guys from the JUCO level.
Yeah, no doubt. In Oklahoma, just a beneficiary. You know, you think back to Skip's career. He was a pitching coach, University of Texas, when Augie Garrido was brought in.
That is a frozen rope that's fair. Played off the sidewall by Scholl with LaChance into second. Second time he's reached, and he's on board with a double.
Yeah, that delivery from Pesca just kind of hung up in the middle of the zone there, and good job by LaChance. Just let that ball travel. The ball was smoked. Good job by Scholl to get it back into the infield quickly, hold him to a double. Yeah, just talking about how Skip Johnson got to Oklahoma, you know, looked like he could have had a shot at the head coaching job at the University of Texas. Texas hires David Pierce instead, and Oklahoma says, okay, we'll take Skip Johnson. It's worked out quite well for the Sooners.
Ball outside here to Jackson Willits. It's also wild to think about the fact Skip goes to the Oklahoma staff. Pitching coach for Pete Hughes, was only there a year. Hughes gets let go, and it just kind of works out. Sooners have this guy already there, falls right into their lap, and here he is almost a decade later. And it's not like Pete Hughes, more of a new scenery did him well. He goes to Kansas State, has had a ton of success there in Manhattan.
Yeah.
1-1. There's a fastball that just misses. 2-1 to Jackson Willits, who drove in the first two of the game with a double back in the first.
And we will have a chance to see those Wildcats here next weekend.
Three and one here to Willits. I'm sure K-State thrilled about coming back this year, Pat, after they were what, 1-4 when we saw them last year. Came in here and beat Arkansas, beat TCU. They swept the weekend. Looked incredible. High drive off the bat of Willits. Did he get enough of it? Willits caught at the track. LaChance able to see that ball being caught at the last second. Gets back, tags, and goes to third.
Yeah, Willits just misses that. And a hanging breaking ball, middle of the zone, and just a tick underneath it, but drove it deep to the gap where TP Wentworth reels it in, but just a few feet away from getting that into the bullpen.
Got to earn him here, don't you?
Well, we talk about this place being a graveyard, but man, what have we seen? Like 17 home runs so far?
And counting.
5 games?
Called strike here to Nolan Stevens. Yeah, if we got to 25 by the end of this weekend, it would not surprise me at all.
The pitch count starting to creep up on Mario Pesca. 63rd pitch thrown. 34 of those for strikes.
Hot shot to the right side. Nice handle with the backhand by Brock Thompson. Pretty play over there to end the third inning. First zero put up by Mario Pesca as we head to the fourth. Andrew Heaney will join us in the booth next. It's a 3-0 lead for OU.
Excited to get back here, see some of the guys, especially like some of the staff. Some of the staff that I hadn't seen in a long time. And just excited to watch a little baseball. Interesting to be on the other side of it here.
I'm sure. Little jam shot to the left side off the bat of Sebastian Norman. Jackson Willits with the putout. I'm sure this has to be a weird just time in your life. You've been on a baseball field basically your whole life, and
yeah,
You retire and now what, right? That's always the question, I guess.
Yeah, I'm gonna go home, help my wife out. She's been
there. You go.
We have 2.5-year-old twin daughters, so she's had her hands full the last couple of years. So get them a little more time around Dad and get them off to school, and then we'll have a little more free time. See what I need to do to keep my mind occupied, I guess.
Well, Andrew, I had a chance to call a number of Bedlam games and came into broadcasting at the same time Josh got to Oklahoma State, watched your career. In fact, you and I met at Dallas Baptist one day years ago, and I just had the great joy of watching your career. Now, I know you're a bit of a journeyman, but you landed in the right spot at the right time with the Rangers. Talk us through that journey. How'd you get here?
Oh, man. Well, we can go all the way back. Drafted by the Marlins, got to the big leagues quickly, and then traded over to the Angels. Was there for 7 years almost. Traded to the Yankees, short stint, year with the Dodgers, and then signed a 2-year deal here with the Rangers. So I was here in 23 and 24. Amazing timing for me. I mean,
good call.
It was it was amazing. Getting to be here. This is as close to home. You know, I'm an Oklahoma kid, so as close to home as I was going to get in the big leagues. 23, we win a World Series. My first children are born, so I have nothing but amazing memories here.
Watching Garrett Shull at the plate, 2 out, nobody on here in the top of the 4th. As he waves and misses one from Oklahoma City. So I'm curious, what was the dynamic growing up? How did the recruiting process work? I know a lot of schools wanted you, including the Pokes and the Sooners.
Yeah, I got recruited by a decent amount of Big 12 teams, really, and I kind of knew I was going to stay in state. Just wanted to be a little bit closer to home, a little bit easier on the finances to be able to, I was a good player. I'm not saying I wasn't good, but I wasn't getting the full ride, and I wasn't getting paid to play like the kids are now, which is great for them. But yeah, I mean, it was really honestly kind of down to OU and OSU, and just had a better feel, better vibe. I'm probably more of an Oklahoma State. Come from an Oklahoma State family than I do an OU family, so that helped a little bit, and I don't regret it at all. Had a great 3 years there and really enjoyed it.
We can't thank you enough for spending a few minutes with us up here in the booth, Andrew. Congrats on all the success. Best of luck here as you go into retirement, being a dad.
Thank you.
Great stuff. Andrew Heaney, former Texas Ranger and Oklahoma State Cowboy, part of that 2023 World Series championship team, as we come back from Globe Life after this. Donated, and we're not even halfway through the weekend, Pat. Also, it's a nice little addition. We've got the standings as well. So it's Bedlam, and now they're updating this after each game. So because Texas Tech and Vanderbilt were playing the early games, they came in here. They were toward the bottom of the standings. As a hard drive is sent into the gap out there in left center. That is down, banging off the wall. And an impressive start to the inning off the bat of Brendan Brock, who almost hit a second home run of the weekend.
Yeah, I think he missed that by maybe a foot or two. At the top of the fence there in that Oklahoma State bullpen area. Rattles around in that corner where the fence comes together from center field to left field, and just off the top of that progressive sign. And how about that?
So it wasn't quite this, Pat, but yesterday Brock went yard, and it was with all 3 ducks on the pond.
Yeah, that one dead center. And just see the power to all fields. It's exactly what Skip Johnson talked about when it came to Brendan Brock. And it's going to be so difficult to keep this guy to the lineup. He does serve as a backup catcher. But with a power like that, you got to keep him in the everyday lineup.
So Trey Gamble calling time, goes down to the first base coaching box, gets a quick word in. And so after the first game today, Texas Tech, they are now second in your donation standings. Vanderbilt third. And I would assume after Bedlam today, Oklahoma State and Oklahoma will be our big risers of the afternoon.
That's right.
It's moving day here at the Shriners donation standings. Arkansas, not a shock. They brought over 15,000 fans here to Arlington. Just tremendous college baseball support. And they have led the donation standings. That was not a shock at all. We'll see them in the nightcap tonight.
Boy, do those Arkansas fans travel
Oh,
well.
they do.
A lot of pig suey last night.
You know, and they're smart, too, because hotel breakfast on the weekends goes to about 10. You know, the veteran travelers amongst us show up at about 9:57. And the hotel lobby was all Arkansas fans.
I was just glad there was some food left for you.
I'm glad, too. Bunt, tough play, and they beat it out. Gamble did perfectly getting that down to the right side. And not only does it get Brock over to third, but Gamble's safe with an infield single.
Yeah, the key to that type of bunt is to get it past the pitcher, make the first baseman come field it. Brigham did that. Good communication between he and Pesca, the pitcher, but Pesca a little bit late getting over to first base. And, of course, Gamble's got some wheels and beats that out for an infield bunt single. That does move Brock over to third base. That looks like it could be all for Mario Pesca.
69 pitches for Pesca. His afternoon comes to an end, responsible for the runners on first and third as Oklahoma State goes to the bullpen for the first time. Trailing 3-0 here in the bottom of the fourth. We'll get you set up on a new pitcher when we come back. 350th edition of Bedlam. Oklahoma with the early edge. This venue today specifically, Pat, it was an absolute monsoon outside. Continuing to rain throughout the day. Oklahoma State, though, in need of a spark here. They're in a jam, down 3-0. Runners on the corners, nobody out as they go to the bullpen. And the veteran Brennan Phillips set to make his 40th career appearance for the Cowboys.
Yeah, Phillips is a really key piece of that bullpen this season for Josh Holliday and the Cowboys. And, you know, really came on the scene strong at the end of the year last season. Gave a tremendous outing against Duke in that Athens regional. Phillips went 5 innings, 8 strikeouts, only 3 runs allowed. And really eye-popping stat is he holds right-handers to a 179 clip last year, and pretty unusual for a left-hander to be that dominant against righties. But be a fastball that touches the 90s and curveball changeup mix.
They bring him in against the lefty here, Dayton Taki. Just misses with an off-speed pitch on his first offering, and it's 1-0. It is odd, though. He's gotten the hard part down, right?
That's right.
Getting the righties out. Had some inconsistencies on the lefty-lefty matchups last year, but you'll take your chances on those long-term.
Has a little bit of deception in his delivery and pretty good first base move. You can see kind of the double look there with his head as he throws over to first base to try to keep Gamble close.
Taki showing bunts as he pulls it back, 2-0.
Taki kind of got the scoring going yesterday with that big nuke of a home run. Deep above the bullpen in right center.
High fly ball. Taki gets under it. Will it be deep enough to tag? Scholl ranges back to make the catch. And the throw comes to the infield, ends up being plenty deep enough as Brock comes home from third. 4-0 Oklahoma. Taki gets the job done.
Yeah, the footwork in left field, not extraordinary from Garrett Scholl. And you saw him start to kind of go back towards the back fence, towards that left field line. Just did not get his feet in front of that ball. And saw the tag up there by Brock. I think Brock holds third base. It wasn't real deep. And had Scholl been able to get himself underneath the ball and kind of had that forward throwing motion, instead he was backpedaling and made that an easy tag.
That seemed, I mean, 50-50 right on the line there if you were to go or not.
Yeah.
But that late range back, not only did it put Scholl out of position, but it also kind of gave a tell there. And
that's exactly
you
right.
could obviously see if you're Brock, oh, okay, he doesn't have momentum. I'm just going to
He read it well. Yeah, that's right.
It's the little things that can add up at this level. Now 4-0 to Oklahoma. And Kyle Branch at the plate, who had an RBI single back in the second.
As outfielders will tell you, they want to get back behind the baseball and get that momentum going forward as they catch it.
Slow tapper. They flip it backwards to get one. Good enough speed to avoid the double play from Branch, though. Thompson goes to Ortiz on the fielder's choice.
Yeah, really smart base running by Gamble to avoid the double play. And that's the only play that Brock Thompson had at second base was to turn around and flip back to Ortiz, covering the bag. That will allow Branch to get to first base, but heads up base running.
So Mario Pesca's line complete, 3+ innings. He is still responsible for Branch, I should say, at first, but that 4th run charged to him. 4 earned runs in 3+ innings, giving up the 5 hits along with 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. But better days ahead for Pesca from a command perspective.
And not his best stuff today.
Should end the inning, and it will. Ortiz back to Thompson. They get the fielder's choice to retire Jason Walk. OU adds another one, though. They lead it 4-0 after 4.
It is, and that money will go a long way to help kids.
We start the inning, swing and a miss here. Oklahoma State back to the plate, and T.P. Wentworth joined by Brant Kane up here in the booth. And there's the QR code right on your screen there if you want to donate. Help out what an unbelievable cause Shriners Children's has been, and we're so pleased to have this. Now, 3rd year Shriners attached to the season opening tournament here at Globe Life. Just seems, Brad, like it's gotten better and better each season we've had this event here.
Well, it has. You know, we learn a lot, and we have an amazing partnership with the Rangers in this beautiful stadium, and I'm very impressed with the number of fans that come out, and they really support their teams.
Hey, Brian, I've been a part of the Shriners Classic. You've been going down to the Houston days years ago.
I've heard.
Yeah, it's great to be here with you. Tell us a bit about your story. How did you come to know Shriners and get involved?
Well, my father was a Shriner, so I spent my youth going to football games and picnics and circuses, and got to know a lot of the guys when I got into high school. And it's like when I turned 18, I wanted to become a Shriner and got into college first. And by the time I was done with college, I was a Shriner, a Mason, and a Shriner, and loved it.
Yeah. So it really is all about kind of a heart of service, right? How do we serve others well?
Well, it is, and you have to be a Mason to be a Shriner, and Mason's tenets are brotherly love, truth, and relief. We take care of our own, and the Shrine then brings the family involved, and it's just an amazing organization. We really love to help kids.
Yeah, it's amazing the generosity of you and the families involved with Shriners, and of course now opening it up to the public to join in and giving the funds that is so important for the Shriners Children's Hospitals, because the kids come in, they don't really pay a dime for the services, right?
Well, not really. You know, our annual budget for the hospital system is over $1.2 billion.
Wow.
And so when you look at the scoreboard out there and it says $109,000, that goes a long way. And it's at no cost to the family. I mean, we do take first-party insurance, but the copay and the deductible, it's like, no. We're there to support the kids and the families.
Couple of strikeouts here. First T.P. Wentworth, now Brock Thompson, and that is now 4 straight punch-outs for L.J. Mercurius here in the 5th. Another look at this punch-out as we're joined in the booth. Brad Kane from Shriners, so kind of give us a few minutes, and just how it is such now a national organization. You can go anywhere really in the country, it seems like now, and there's a chapter that represents pretty much every place we have, right?
Right. We're a 153-year-old basically fraternity, and we have chapters we call them temples, but chapters in 8 or 9 countries. And a number of years ago, we changed it to Shriners International because that's what we are. We're in every state in the United States, and South America, Philippines, Europe, Australia, Canada, Mexico. It's awesome.
It's been wonderful to see the growth here, the 2-out single from Avery Ortiz. I was about to say, Pat, whenever we've had guests up here, first Andrew Heaney, now Brad, it has been like just the perfect elixir for these pitchers. We get a guest up here, they just start dealing.
It's quick, isn't it?
Yep.
And Mercurius had that one zing right past
your head.
Yeah. Well, and we thank you guys. We thank you what you do. It's a love for the sport, and we can mix sports with our philanthropy, and it goes a long way to help our families.
Well, thank you, Brad. And it's always a pleasure and honor for us to be involved in Shriners. And, man, these interviews with the patient ambassadors, just incredible every season. And Ben and I have such a a pleasure to do those interviews and get the story out. And there's some tremendous stories. But one thing I do have to tell you, we're a little bit upset. We have yet to get our invitation to the golf outing. We've been waiting for a long time, Brad. Can you make that happen for us?
You know, I can, but unfortunately, we're no longer in Vegas with the Shriners Children's Open.
Gotcha.
But we're involved with the World Champions Cup down in Tampa, Clearwater.
Oh, we'll take it. Yeah, we'll go to Tampa.
That's the first full weekend in December, so you let me know. We'll get you there.
Awesome.
Hard shot to the corner. That's down, extra bases. Let's see if they send Ortiz.
No.
They will. And Oklahoma State's on the board. A little two-out rally to draw within 3. A double for Colin Ritchie.
Great hit.
Yeah, just a matter of time before Ritchie busted out. We see it there and breaks that egg on the scoreboard.
These guys are amazing athletes.
Big two-out double there. Gets the run in. And it looked like Oklahoma may have had a shot at Ortiz at home plate, but they missed the cutoff man. It kind of squirted through the legs of Kyle Branch. Jackson Woolett's providing some backup, and he couldn't handle it either. So Ortiz will plate the first run for the Cowboys.
Brad joins us in the booth. We get some offense. How about that?
You know, we want to get you a little bit more excitement up here.
Wave and a miss here from Aiden Miola.
That tends to help the generosity. Now we ought to say, hey, now that you scored a run, Cowboys, start donating on the scoreboard.
Please donate. It goes to an amazing cause. The most amazing care anywhere.
I'm always impressed, too. It seems like whether you know somebody who's had an early diagnosis, whether you got a family member, know of somebody, it seems like so many people, you realize very quickly just how many people various diseases impact and how the connection comes about. It's been so impressive to see that then translate to what Shriners has become.
You're absolutely right. And, you know, we don't treat just the child. We treat the whole family. We treat the whole child. And we tell our patients, our kids, you can do anything you set your mind to. It just may be a little different.
That's right. And, Brad, when I was growing up, it was really of Shriners. When you thought of Shriners Children's Hospitals, you thought of the burn units. But you guys do much more than burn patients, right?
We do. 103 years ago, we started on the basis of club feet. And we've been doing that. We did that until the 1964.
Now, it's a pleasure to have you with the booth with us. Can't thank you enough for doing this, Brad. We'll check in with you in a bit, but we go to a break for now with Oklahoma on top. They've got batting cages that you can go into when the Rangers are playing. It's pretty sweet.
Oh, it's a great setup. And, of course, the food here, you're not finding better food around Major League ballparks than here at Globe Life Field and home of the Texas Rangers. Of course, that 2023 World Series victory that Andrew Heaney was so kind to talk about when he was here with us in the booth. What an incredible job here by the Rangers. Rev Sports, man, tip of the cap to those guys. They're just incredible, bringing these this level of competition to Globe Life. Now it just keeps getting better and better.
Won a World Series in this building. As Oklahoma starts the inning here, it's a wave and a miss. But it gets away, and that will result in a leadoff base runner. So even when Oklahoma State's getting balls in play or getting swings and misses, it's still not coming easy, and yet another leadoff man aboard for Oklahoma.
Yeah, so disheartening for Brendan Phillips. Gets the strikeout. There's a breaking ball down. You see Campbell Smithwick try to square it up, but just could not quite get that chest square to the ball, and it kicks off to the left. By the time he gets to it, Johnson is standing at first base.
Strikeout and a wild pitch, and Johnson is aboard. Now another one gets to the backstop. A tough start to the inning for Smithwick behind the dish. Not easy balls to handle, though, by any means, and Johnson is in scoring position.
Yeah, toughest thing for a new catcher to the program is to learn the pitchers. You've got, typically 15 to 17 pitchers. You have to learn the spins. Which way does it kick when it hits the dirt? And when they pull a pitch, where is it going? What does that look like? It's just really difficult for a new catcher.
Good pitch there, though, getting Deaton a chance out in front on a curveball.
Brendan Phillips, one of those pitchers that Really gives you a lot of versatility. He could start games, might be a midweek starter. Really kind of a bridge type pitcher, can come in early in the game as we've seen him do today, and relief of Mario Pesca can really give you 4, 5, 6 innings.
Wave and a miss, continues to keep LaChance a bit off the mark with the off speed. Well, last year Phillips went 5 innings in regionals. It was a tough spot for him. Oklahoma State was down in that regional loss to Duke, but he went 5 innings and handled himself really well. Wave and a miss. This time it is blocked out in front. Throw down to first to retire LaChance. So some good off speed from Phillips in this inning.
Yeah, pulled the string a couple of times in that sequence of pitches to LaChance and had him out in front. Went right back to it to record the strikeout. And that time Smithwick does knock it down and complete the putout.
Such a luxury for Josh Holliday to have a guy like Brendan Phillips with his experience back as he now digs in to face Jackson Willits.
Well, now we know why Brendan Phillips has had such great success against right-handed hitters. That changeup is a plus pitch. Really difficult to pick the spin up off his hand.
Just misses on the inside to Willits, and it's 2-0. 40th career appearance for OSU. Do have a decent amount of returning production. You have one of their weekend starters from last year who's back. And this is a recruiting class coming in, at least of the freshmen now, 7th in the country. So they love the sort of newcomers they've got in. It's a nice, unique blend of the underclassmen with a ton of talent, and then guys like a Phillips who've been there, done that.
That's right. It goes back to Josh Holliday's commitment to developing players, you know, really bringing in the high school player.
Will sneak through, though, the right side, and Willits has another run batted in. 2-run double in the first. He makes it a 5-1 game.
Well, such an intelligent hitter, and there's a lot of space to work with between first and second. That's exactly what Willits saw. And he just says, I'm going to have an approach here, a right center approach on this left-hander, Brendan Phillips, and does a great job. You see him keeping his hands back, just hitting that ground ball through the infield as Brock Thompson was pulled up towards the middle. You know, OU gets the great equalizer. Boy, so disheartening. Cowboys get the run. And then the Sooners right back at it and take it away.
I felt like Oklahoma State had to do so much, work so hard to get that run across with 11 strikeouts on the other side from the Oklahoma pitcher, L.J. Mercurius. And you're right, Pat, it takes about a minute for OU to counter. With a pinch hitter here, Caden Brumbaugh. In that right field spot. Brumbaugh, the transfer from Nebraska, who we did see make his OU debut yesterday. Struck out as a pinch hitter in the ninth, but they certainly feel like Brumbaugh will be a key piece this year for Oklahoma and kind of a swing role as a hitter.
Yeah, really a good depth piece for Skip Johnson's Sooners.
Pops this one up, though, on the infield. In fair territory, brought in by Brigham for the second out. Seth brings up Brendan Brock. 1 grand slam and a double that was about 2 feet away from being another homer. The double today, the grand slam yesterday. Brock has, I would say, Pat, fit right into this new program.
This guy can just flat hit. That's what he does. Yeah, both of these coaches, Josh Holliday and Skip Johnson, do a great job in terms of talent evaluation, and you know, both are very committed, as we talked about, to developing players and sticking with some of the young guys. You look up and down the roster, you've got this great blend of veterans who have stuck around for 2, 3, 4 years, guys that have not left the program. It speaks to the value of the culture and what they've developed here in terms of a great place to play.
That one's off the glove of Ortiz, was deep in the hole. And Brock is on base again. It'll be interesting to see how they score this.
I think that'll go down as a hit.
Yeah. I'm with you. Tough play for Ortiz. Unable to keep it in his glove. And it brings to the plate Trey Gamble, one of the 3 Sooners to go yard on opening day.
Yeah, drove that ball about 5 rows up in the right field bleachers. And yeah, the Sooners struck late. They struck with a lot of power late in that victory yesterday.
Takes a first pitch ball. It is an infield hit. I only say interesting just because with how good of a fielder you have in Avery Ortiz, he covers so much ground.
He does.
It is not at all surprising when he gets to the ball and makes plays like that. Only play would have been second. It was not an easy one. Now a high, deep fly. It will go. Gamble again has a big fly here at Globe Life, and it's 8-1.
Well, how about that by our production crew? Just go ahead and tee up that home run from yesterday and watch Gamble do it again. Wow. This time he hits it a little bit further probably than what he hit yesterday. That was about 9-10 rows up. It's a 385 on the distance down that right field line. Exit velocity of 102 miles an hour off the bat, and that was a no-doubter. Hanging breaking pitch by Brendan Phillips, and Gamble knows exactly what to do with that.
Dayton Taki hacking and fouls it back. And we did say Brendan Phillips, who's been so good against righties, his struggles, surprisingly enough, have been in the lefty-lefty matchups, and that one was a true hanger, as you mentioned.
Yeah, it neutralizes that changeup. That changeup is his best pitch, and it just doesn't throw it as often against lefties, but maybe I ought to rethink that. And that breaking ball just kind of tumbled in, and Gamble stayed back on it and just drove it into the seats.
Another rifle. This one just fouled on that right field line. Well, if the bottom of the order, 6 through 9, continues to produce this way for Oklahoma, I do not think they will be unranked much longer, Pat.
It's up and down the lineup is just, again, a very athletic lineup. You know, we look at the speed at the top and at the bottom. You've just got a lot of power throughout the middle of that lineup.
Another foul from Taki. Had the sac fly to produce a run, driving Brock last inning. Two count here. And so Oklahoma, after that slow start yesterday, if you add in the last 4 innings to the game today, it is 14 hits in their last 37 at-bats as a team.
And what about 17, 18 runs? I think they
Something
scored
like
one
that.
early yesterday, and everything came late. Yeah. This team is strong out of the gate, which we expected they would be. It's a great blend of veterans up the middle as Taki takes strike 3.
That ends the inning for Brendan Phillips, but 4 runs come across for Oklahoma, including Trey Gamble's second yard shot of the weekend. It's 8-1 OU headed to the 6th. Another day, another dominant Oklahoma pitcher. Yesterday it was Cameron Johnson. Today, Pat, L.J. Mercurius.
Yeah, he has been everything we thought he would be. And, you know, 3 pitches that he commands really well. The fastball is electric, mid-90s, has touched 97. But it's that combination of the slider and the changeup that have just made him incredibly good today. And 11 punch-outs, as you said, and just another incredible performance by back-to-back starters for the Sooners. 57 at strikes in 85 pitches, 67% strike rate, and he has got it working today.
Heads back out there for his 6th inning of work at 85 pitches. It's felt like a pretty comfortable 85, Pat. That's part of the calculus that goes into that when keeping a guy back out there as Briggerman takes a strike.
Yeah, no doubt. He gave up the run last inning, but even then, 3 strikeouts. It's, oftentimes you think in an opening day start, how long do you want to let your guy go? And really not a lot of high stress pitches today. He's only been in trouble maybe a couple of innings and worked quickly out of it via the strikeout.
Just misses on 0-2. By the way, Caden Brumbaugh has stayed in the game. He's out there in right field for OU, replacing Nolan Stevens. Defense hasn't had to do a whole lot of work though today, as the 1-2 bounces in the dirt.
Mercurius has just worked consistently ahead of hitters, and of course we know what the stats tell us when you do that, as the Sooners are in a full shift on Colin Briggerman.
Briggerman, one of the few base knocks, just 3 of them so far for Oklahoma State. Putting together a good AB here, fouls it off. Got him. Another one. It's back to the changeup. Make it 12 for LJ Mercurius.
Yeah, just so difficult to pick that pitch up. And Briggerman, a veteran hitter, and just way out in front of that pitch. Just so difficult to pick it up off his hand, and hides that ball really well.
Just misses outside to Sebastian Norman. Gotta say, I did not think Cameron Johnson would be one-upped in any way today.
Right,
I didn't think it was
exactly.
possible. A hack and a miss.
You've got just 2 electric arms here as part of this Sooner weekend rotation, and we talked about just filling the shoes of some of the guys before them, and this is not any kind of crazy territory for Skip Johnson. He gets his entire starting rotation drafted, and then the rebuild begins. Kyson Witherspoon, his brother Malachi, and Cade Crossland. And you've got guys like Cam Johnson and LJ Mercurius. Probably see Drew Rarick, the Texas transfer, possibly tomorrow on Sunday start. Just a complete reload.
Count 1-2 here. Norman has struggled in his debut. Really tough matchup to put him in, though. 2-2 the count. Haven't seen many of these full counts today.
Yeah, just losing a tick off that fastball. Now 92, 93. You're starting to see a little bit of fatigue.
A good battle. Next pitch, the 98th for LJ Mercurius. He's only given up the 3 hits today. They did change one of them to an error, which I thought was pretty harsh, Pat. That Briggerman hot shot to the right side, they changed to an E3.
Oh, wow.
On Dayton Taki. I'm a little confused as to why, but went down in the books as an E3. Didn't matter. Mercurius got out of that jam anyway. Ball 4. What a take on 3-2.
Yeah, I just missed. Saw Brendan Brock try to square that ball up. Pitch kind of took his glove down and inside towards the hitter, and just not able to get the pitch.
And that will be all for LJ Mercurius. 12 strikeouts, just 3 hits allowed, and 2 walks across 5 1/3. And Skip Johnson will head to the pen. Couldn't ask for much more, though, in your debut, coming from UNLV to the SEC. And LJ Mercurius spots his team in 8-1 lead.
Yeah, tremendous confidence from that pitcher, and boy, for Skip Johnson to just throw him into that weekend rotation and handles it well. Outstanding day for LJ Mercurius.
OU heads to the bullpen for the first time. Michael Catalano set to enter the fray when we return. It's the Sooners on top. 8-1 lead for Oklahoma, and what a debut for that man, LJ Mercurius. 12 strikeouts in 5 1/3. His day is done. 8-1 lead for the Sooners as they head to the bullpen, and Michael Catalano.
Yeah, tremendous outing for Mercurius, and of course being greeted by his teammates as well he should. Incredible debut for his start here with Oklahoma. Good look at Michael Catalano, who could find himself somewhere in the rotation, maybe a midweek starter, could possibly find himself into the weekend rotation, but a guy that comes with some great experience. Pitched out of relief last season, but there are the strikeout totals for Mercurius as he heads to the locker room. Catalano will feature a fastball in the low 90s. It's a heavy fastball, a lot of sink to it. High 70s curveball, mid 80s slider. It's really good pitch ability, diverse repertoire, and really good smooth delivery. That's what you'll see with him.
It is a long uphill climb here for Oklahoma State. Campbell Smithwick taking a ball down and in. A solid freshman campaign for Catalano. .232 opponent batting average in 27 innings last year. As you close the book on the 2 starters so far for Oklahoma, 11 1/3, 23 combined strikeouts, 1 earned run between the 2 of them.
Doesn't get much better than that.
Fastball pumped in there for a strike. There are the numbers last year from Catalano from nearby Frisco, Texas. It's to be so special. Always so many Texas guys on these respective rosters, even for the non-Texas schools. Hot shot, foul, and it's 1-2.
Yeah, local product just north of the stadium here, and I'm sure a lot of family and friends celebrating him getting a chance to tow it up, where he was a young Rangers fan watching the Rangers win that 23 World Series, and there he is pitching off the same mound.
Fastball just runs outside to Smithwick. It's a really interesting spot to be in too if you're Catalano, because you got some higher leverage relief spots last year, but you also went to the Cape this summer, started a few games as he throws to first, has shown he can be stretched out a little bit. And anytime you're on a roster where you provided a good punch, you pitched in some big innings, and now all the returning starters are gone from the weekend rotation, you could very easily find yourself in the mix.
Yeah, no doubt. And was a starter up in the Cape and really handled that well. Had a great summer. Yeah, you come back and you find a couple of transfers that get placed ahead of you, but he chose to stay here at Oklahoma and keep battling for that spot. But either way, it gives Skip Johnson a lot of versatility in terms of how to use Catalano going forward. He'll get a lot of innings this year, no doubt.
Another foul back from Smithwick. As this game has gone on, seems like the quality of ABs have gotten better from Oklahoma State. Just not much to show for it so far.
He's just going to put balls in play, try to force that Sooner defense to make plays. And you talk about, and you strike out, a dozen times, it's just not enough contact.
It was the issue last year. Oklahoma State with a nation high 26% strikeout rate. fastball upstairs, and it's 3-2. Obviously, some of that was the injuries and guys shuffling in the order, but let's remember, Pat, 2 years ago, this was a team that walked nearly 400 times. They led the Big 12, and you always think of the Josh Holliday teams as super disciplined, great eyes at the plate. Definitely lost a little bit of that last year.
And it means a lot to force defense to make plays, and especially the home field that they play in O'Brate Stadium. It's not a home run hitter's park by any means, so they definitely have to cut down on those strikeouts.
They fake the runner going, and then Smithwick swings through a slider, second out.
Yeah, Catalano goes back to the cut fastball and gets it by Smithwick. He just catches the outside corner.
2 down for Garrett Shaw. Had the 2-run homer yesterday for Oklahoma State. Couple of punch outs today. Takes a fastball outside. He committed as a 9th grader to Josh Holliday. Has a great background, great story, a local kid. Josh Holliday told us the only question that Garrett Shaw asked him during his recruitment was if their new stadium had handicapped seating. And that's because his brother's in a wheelchair. He wanted to make sure he'd be able to have a place to watch his games. And first thing he told Josh Holliday was, look, I want my brother at every game. I want to take OSU back to the College World Series.
Yeah. Just a super fit, good fit for Oklahoma State. You know, he is a poke through and through, and great culture guy, great leader.
Takes a 2-0 slider that catches the outside edge.
And how many 18-year-olds ask that question?
Sure.
Right?
Can't think it's very many. Well, Dad is a former military pilot, so maybe that explains some of it. Josh Holliday raving about his upside when we talked with him last year before coming in as a freshman. And even with the high strikeout rate, still he's never held his head, anything like that. He's been super consistent, the sort of guy Josh Holliday loves for this program.
Had a big summer in the Appy League and really improved his defense. He can play all over the field too. One of those versatile, great athletes. And definitely a ton of upside for Garrett Shaw.
Works a 2-2 count here with 2 down in the top of the 6th. The 1-out walk to Sebastian Norman that chased starter LJ Mercurius from the game. But Oklahoma in control right now as they go to the bullpen. Another foul into the stands.
Catalano trying to ride the strike zone up on Scholl. See if he comes back with something soft here. Kind of sped the bat up.
Good battle continues. You think about that family dynamic too for Garrett Shaw, and how much must it mean to play in an event like this, Shriners Children's, where we've seen 6 figures worth of money raised just towards research and combating all sorts of illnesses, diseases that children face. So many of the Shriners Children's who've come to us, Pat, and we've gotten to visit with in the booth, super inspiring with all their stories. And the Shaw family no different, as this one's again fouled off.
Great battle.
Josh Holliday looks on. We'll love to see this too. If you're down 7 against a rival, things not going well. You got run ruled last night, and yet still no sign of giving in. Swing and a miss. Catalano wins the battle. It's a couple more strikeouts. The Sooner staff has 14 of them today, and they lead it 8-1 to the home half of the sixth.
Kansas State, as we mentioned, Michigan, Nebraska, and Florida State.
Can't wait for that. In the meantime, we go back to the bullpen for Oklahoma State. Transfer coming in from the JUCO level as the Pokes go with a junior native of Canada and Kai Fike. His first pitch just outside to Kyle Branch. He can pile up strikeouts in a hurry. 72 punchouts in 65 innings, only 18 walks in his JUCO season last year.
Yeah, one of those swing and miss type arms, and only did it pile up the Ks at 72 last year for Central Arizona. Only walked 18, so great command of 3 pitches.
It's in there for a strike to Kyle Branch. 9-1-2 here for Oklahoma. He did a little bit of everything, had a couple saves, made 9 starts at the JUCO level, and that was after 1 year playing collegiate baseball in Canada. Chop to the left side. Ortiz there to charge. Makes the throw in time. Here's a good look at that. Big right arm of Kai Fike. Call him Fiker Jet. It's a good one.
I like that. That works. I'll tell you what these early season tournaments do for coaching staffs. It's really an opportunity to take a look at various positions, and especially the pitching staffs trying to figure out some roles in the bullpen. And Kai Fike is one of those that, you know, he's a strike thrower. He just challenges hitters as Jason Walk flies out to center field.
Fly out to center from Jason Walk. Hey, all weekend long, Shriners Children's is challenging fans to see which team can raise the most money to help improve the lives of children around the world. Donations of any amount help Shriners Children's empower the extraordinary, and donations of $100 or more earn an exclusive Shriners Children's t-shirt. To move your team up in the fundraising leaderboard, scan the QR code on your screen or visit shrinersshowdown.org to donate and support Shriners Children's today. Called strike taken by Camden Johnson. High pop-up from Johnston into shallow center. Easy does it for Colin Ritchie, who makes the catch. And a great debut for Kai Fike. 1-2-3, bottom of the 6th, as Oklahoma leads it by 7. A couple of teams who won on opening day. One of those teams will go to 2-0 in what is the big-time matchup of the weekend. Number 7 versus number 10 in the preseason rankings.
Yeah, the Hog fans will fill it up, and expect we'll see quite a bit of purple as well. We did yesterday, and we talked about TCU fans not having to travel quite as far down the street from Fort Worth. But yeah, this should be a rowdy matchup tonight. Look forward to it.
Banged up the middle by T.P. Wentworth, 110 off the bat. As his first hit of the day, just the 4th for Oklahoma State as they turn the lineup over.
Yeah, the Cowboys need base runners, and good job by Wentworth. Went up there aggressive, caught a fastball down the middle. Too much center cut. He delivers the base hit. Cowboys need a rally here.
They've been outscored now 20-3 in their first 2 games. They lost to Arkansas last night. Just looking for something positive here. They take on Vanderbilt tomorrow morning in the first game. Brock Thompson takes the ball high. It's a hallmark of a Josh Holliday team, though, facing a really tough early season schedule. As this count works to 2-0, they had the 29th toughest non-con strength of schedule last year, and This year they start here at Globe Life. They'll go to Phoenix next weekend, a 4-game series at Grand Canyon, who are just like a nightmare to play if you're a Power 4 conference team. They always seem to pull off big upsets. First year in the Mountain West for the Lopes out in Phoenix.
Josh Holliday does not back down from the challenge, and in fact he invites it. He says, hey, look, this tournament here, Shriners, and then next weekend against Grand Canyon, it's just going to give us a great idea of what we've got to work with early in the season. We know what to expect from our veteran players. There's no question there, and he's got some really strong veterans at the top of this lineup. Thompson, Ortiz, Ritchie, Miola, Brigham. But some of the newer faces, some of the younger faces that you would like to see how well they respond to the big moment.
He does get the 4-pitch walk from Brock Thompson, and the first time Oklahoma has had multiple runners on board since the 3rd inning.
You get to that part of the lineup where the Cowboys can really cause some damage. Some of the power bats in the box and on deck.
Catalano's really been riding that slider. This is down low to Avery Ortiz, 18 extra base hits as a freshman. See Ritchie right behind him on deck.
And Catalano's just kind of lost the feel for that breaking ball, and that bodes well for the Cowboys. They can hit fastballs.
Does find the outside edge with a fastball. Wave and a miss. It's more like it from Catalano. Works ahead 1-2 against Avery Ortiz. I'm so happy to have him back healthy. Just 17 games for Ortiz last year, 13 for Miola, who's now batting cleanup. Those guys are healthy now for the Pokes. Chopper up the middle, handled. They go to the second base, back for 1, and how about that turn from Jackson Willits?
Yeah, you're not going to find many college shortstops that make that play as smoothly as Jackson Willits. First of all, it was a tough grab. He had to take the short hop. That ball kind of bounced over the mound, and it was a tricky hop to begin with, and he fields it smoothly. Watch how he touches the bag and throws in one motion. That ball gets out of his glove so quickly and able to complete the double play. And what a play by the Oklahoma shortstop.
Colin Ritchie taking a called strike. In the college game, that play gets bungled a lot more often than you might think.
There's no doubt. And it involves communication as well, because he's coming up to make the pick, and he's got to let his second baseman Kyle Branch know to vacate the bag. So at the same time he's making that athletic move, he's having to communicate with his second baseman, and what a play.
Big shift on here for Colin Ritchie. Had to feel so good that RBI double down the line in the 5th for Ritchie after starting out his season 0 for 6 with 5 strikeouts.
Yeah, he's one of those toolsy guys. He's going to be a high draft pick. Got a bright future ahead of him. But even the best of the best have slow starts at times. And not a guy you want to pitch from behind. And first base open, but again, with that lead, you really have to be in attack mode and take your chances with Ritchie.
Big swing on 3-1. Catalano hits him with the curveball, and it's a full count. OPS of over 1,000 last year. Tied with Colin Brighamon, second on the team with 15 homers, and that was despite missing a bunch of games. Fights off the fastball running in.
Yeah, it was a good fastball at time by Catalano. Wanted to come inside, get it on the hands of Ritchie, and executed that pitch well. Now he's opened up the outside part of the plate. goes back to that backdoor cutter.
Swing and a miss. Catalano has his third strikeout as he works out of a jam. Another 0 on the scoreboard as we hit stretch time. Oklahoma rolling an 8-1 lead. First pitch, home half of the 7th. A half swing and an offer by Deaton LaChance. Kai Fike back out there for his second inning in relief as we're in the bottom of the 7th. 8-1 Oklahoma, 350th all-time Division I meeting in this Bedlam rivalry. 386th all-time when you go back to the old days when this was just a club sport. OU with the upper hand. They won the midweek game last year. For a long stretch, though, it was Oklahoma State who just had complete one-way traffic as far as dominance. They lead the all-time series 204 to 182 if you include all those club games. Excuse me, check swing. Tough play. Nice bare hand. Aiden Miola making it look easy.
Yeah, beautiful play by the Polk third baseman, and not an easy one. That ball had some spin on it. Even was a check spin. It chops off the grass, and oftentimes you'll have your infield coaches say, that ball's rolling, use your glove, but having to come in quickly and get rid of it. He chooses to go barehanded. Makes a great play to retire LaChance.
Fike with a really nice no-nonsense appearance. He's just been attacking the zone, 4 up, 4 down since coming in, making his Oklahoma State debut.
Really has. I like the tumble in that slider, too. It's got some good downward bite to it. We talked about his tremendous command, and he's doing just that. Nice sinking fastball. I certainly like his approach. He's been aggressive in the zone.
At 0-2 on Jackson Willits. 3 runs driven in today. And even though the big talking point, if you compare these two programs in Bedlam, it's all about the pitchers Oklahoma lost last year and has to replace. I mean, Oklahoma State lost some really good pitchers of their own. Sean Youngerman was their Friday night guy, second team all Big 12. As Willits pops one up. Shallow right center. Thompson there with the call and the catch. But Harrison Bodendorf was the Big 12 newcomer of the year. Those two guys both drafted last season. And in addition to that, Oklahoma State, they are without Hunter Watkins, who is a big-time returner. Grand Canyon transfer, great for them last year, but he had a freak ACL injury in fall ball, and they're not sure if they'll have him at all this year. It's 3 of the top 4 arms by innings pitched from last season, either injured or now no longer on the roster.
Yeah, losing Hunter Watkins, that was a big loss. It's one of those things you count on certain arms to be healthy and give you a good start to the season, and Hunter Watkins was certainly in those plans, and just a really unfortunate injury.
So now for Josh Holliday, it turns into, okay, who's up next? Who can find a role, carve one out for themselves? With a 1-1 count, Kai Fike is certainly,
I was going to say,
doing his best.
Yeah, he is spinning it up there well, and you talk to young pitchers about how to pitch and control the zone, and of course strike one's always important, but I love that last at bat, that sequence with Jackson Willits, one of the top hitters in this Oklahoma lineup, and he spins one down for a strike, goes outside with a fastball, comes up and in on the fastball, and jams him. And you tell young pitchers all the time, man, it's just moving the ball around the zone, and especially being able to control that inside pitch. Making a hitter uncomfortable is such a key in getting outs.
2-2 count right here to Caden Brumbaugh. Came in as a pinch hitter in the 5th for Nolan Stevens, still out there in right field. He's a starter in the Big Ten for Nebraska. Hit over 300 last year for the Huskers.
And he's a great pickup for Skip Johnson's lineup. And again, you know, versatility, the matchups he can play with Brumbaugh. And a great contact hitter. Got some of that sneaky pop as well, but kind of a little platoon there with Nolan Stevens out right field, and that can play.
It's a nice problem to have if you're Skip Johnson, right? A couple of solid D1 transfers with pedigree, and you say, all right, guys, let's have ourselves a battle out there.
That's right.
Wave and a miss. What a debut for Kai Fike. Goes upstairs with the probably love these rivalries. Force people who root for schools that do not like the other one to sit right next to each other.
Two old friends. Hey, let's go see a ball game. Why not?
Seems like they're handling it well, though. Okay, the one guy's talking. It's like, you know what? You're just lucky you're seeing us in mid-February.
That's
right.
right.
If I was at the plate with my swing, I'd be good. 91 years of bedlam in this baseball series.
Cats and dogs are living together, right? Total harmony.
I would love to see a shot of somebody on a couple on a Valentine's Day if they were rooting for opposite teams. Now that would be something. Saw Skip Johnson a moment ago, then Josh Holliday. Blistered to the left field side where a diving catch is made. More highlights for Oklahoma as Trey Gamble brings it in.
Wow, I thought that ball was trapped, but signaled out by third base umpire Chris Koski, and I think they're going to take a look at this. Yeah, that was a heck of a dive by Gamble. Just perfectly read off the bat of Aiden Miola. Looked like a sure single, and with an 8-1 lead, that's not a play you kind of want your left fielder to make. That ball gets by him. It's an instant triple, but yeah, what an athletic move out and left.
They will go ahead and take a look.
And we'll show you the replay here, and just a great attempt, whether it was a catch or not. Kept it in front of him, and Miola thinks he has a base hit. He's standing at first base, and Josh Holliday immediately out of dugout was going to challenge that either way, and I think the umpires have chosen to take the challenge themselves. And you can see third base umpire Koski kind of on the dirt. Really tough call for him. He's actually looking for help from Shane Matheny, the second base umpire, and he finally comes up with the call. But good news for college baseball. You've got replay.
Absolutely. Couldn't help but laugh watching that Trey Gamble piece after he thought he made the catch. So watch this. He comes up with it, trying to sell it. Okay, and here's another slow motion look. Clearly trying to sell it, but watch, after a couple seconds go by, Pat, he kind of quickly throws it into the infield as if thinking, okay, I did not convince them to get the catch.
Yeah, just in case, right? Yeah, that's the right play, but I think that ball clearly hits the turf.
Skip Johnson looking on. Josh Holliday's Cowboys thinking they will get a base hit here for Miola.
Yeah, still a great play either way.
I guess the issue is, even on a play where you break down all the reactions, you think, okay, that probably hit the ground first. Are what we're looking at, is this obvious and clear enough to overturn it?
Right. And the only camera that really picks up that ball, especially line drive, is the high home plate camera, and they are going to make the outs. The out call stands. Wow.
I have to assume just for that reason you couldn't clearly state that it was not a catch made by Trey Gamble out there.
Yeah, you're right. I think that's what it came down to, Ben.
It was one of those days for Oklahoma State. That's one where if they rule that a trap on the field, gotta think it would have stood either way.
Right.
And now Colin Briggerman comes up. First pitch strike in there for Michael Catalano. And Oklahoma had two great starts this weekend from Cam Johnson, and now LJ Mercurius is given the bullpen. As This fastball misses high. Bullpen a chance to kind of ease their way into the season. It's always a great feeling as a coach when you feel like you're in game 2 or 3 and your bullpen is not yet taxed. You're not playing from behind in that sense. 1-1 misses with a fastball. Fouled off. It's one of those things, whether you're LSU at the top of the preseason rankings in the SEC or Mizzou down at the bottom, your bullpen's getting taxed.
Oh, yeah.
No matter what, once you get to SEC play.
There's no doubt. That is a gauntlet. Well, that's what these early season tournaments are for. You know, you're playing three games in 3 days against great teams as Bergman strikes out. But the key there is really trying to distinguish roles as early as you can. The ideal is to have your guys knowing when the phone rings who has to stand up and get ready, and even if it's 1 or 2 guys in certain situations. So that's why these early season games are so important, to kind of set your bullpen up, start to distinguish some of those roles.
And Michael Catalano figures to have a big role.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say with Catalano, you just look at his arm, his stuff. You know, there's probably a lot of teams in Division I baseball he could be a Friday night starter for.
And that's what you get when you have a guy like Skip Johnson as a head coach. So many young pitchers want to grow under his tutelage. Called strike in there. Anytime you have a track record that involves a last name like Kershaw, that's just off the top of the list, right? Johnson. Many others behind that. It's a natural drawing point for many of these young pitchers. 0-2 here to Norman. Josh misses with a fastball. Jam shot back to the mound. A nice and easy 1-2-3 inning for Michael Catalano. 2 2/3 innings of spotless work out of the pen. Oklahoma maintains its edge, up by 7. Oklahoma, just like last year when they got off to an 11-0 start, ended up taking their lumps first year in the SEC, went to the Chapel Hill Regional where they lost to North Carolina. But off to another good start in 2026. Won yesterday 10-3, another 7-run lead as we go to the bottom of the 8th.
Yeah, the big question mark for Oklahoma coming in, I think, was the pitching, and boy, have they shown well so far in 2 days. We talked about with Cam Johnson. Now you're curious, and boy, they are going to be a tough team to deal with in this SEC conference.
Brendan Brock's also showing out pretty well too.
Boy, he sure is. He is striking the ball well.
3 for 4 today after his grand slam yesterday. That is a hearty 5 for 8 start to his Oklahoma career. Ty Fike still in there for his 3rd inning of work. Trey Gamble chops it right over Brigham on the right side. They go 1st to 3rd with Brock, and OU's back in business.
Yeah, you mentioned it earlier, Ben, but just the production. I mean, look at Brock and Gamble. Those are your 6 and 7 hole hitters. Look at the days that they're putting together. My goodness, up and down this lineup. And yeah, Gamble gets the benefit of the high chopper over Brigham, who is obviously holding on. Brock registers for yet another hit, 3 on the day for him as well.
Gamble's been on all 4 times. 3-run homer, diving catch and left. And what more do you have to do?
Have a day.
Trey Gamble.
Yeah. Have a day.
Ball outside to Dayton Taki. 2-0 the count. Look, it's not quite 3 grand slams like what happened at your alma mater yesterday.
Wow, what a day, huh? Tice Armstrong setting some records for Baylor. That was incredible. Saw the highlights. Done only one other time in NCAA history. 3
Amazing.
grand slams in one game. First time in history in back-to-back innings.
Just insane. Usually we try to get a Baylor reference in there just to make you happy, Pat. But this one is totally warranted. That was the story of college baseball opening day.
man.
Called strike in here to Taki.
Yep.
I mean, 3 grand slams in a game. School record 12 driven in.
That does make my heart happy. Speaking of hearts, happy Valentine's Day to all the ladies. My wife allowed me to broadcast with my buddy Ben.
Absolutely. There's a shot up the middle. Great play to save it, but it will get a run in. Another base hit from the bottom of the Oklahoma order. Peyton Taki with the infield single, and it is 9-1.
Yeah, great play by the diving Avery Ortiz for the Cowboys up the middle just to keep that ball from going into the outfield. And looks like he's coming up a little bit lame here. Is trying to recover from that diving stop. Had to flip it behind him, but yeah, the speed of Gamble beats it out.
And the last thing that you want to see if you're Josh Holliday here.
That is not what you want to see. Was the great shortstop for the Cowboys last year, and boy, he is really limping hard on that right leg.
It was a torn quad last year. He only played 17 games.
Oh man, just totally stretched out, went total horizontal, and yeah, let's just pray it's not that quad again. He is walking really gingerly. Such a talented shortstop, and you hate to see that. Second game of the year.
You really feel for him. And Avery Ortiz.
Yeah, he worked so hard to get back, man. Rehab is so difficult and painstaking, and yeah, he gets back on the field this year, totally healthy coming into the season, and I just hate to see that.
Looks like they will move Brock Thompson over to short, bring in a new second baseman here for Oklahoma State. But man, all wishes positively towards the Oklahoma State shortstop Avery Ortiz. Hope it's nothing too serious. Terrence Bowen, a high school recruit out of the state of Georgia. Spent some time both at second and third in the fall, and Bowen will enter. Again, Thompson from second to short, Bowen in batting in Ortiz's spot. Kyle Branch at the plate. Takes a called strike. So last year, Oklahoma went to Stillwater, beat Oklahoma State 11-1 in an 8-inning run rule game. They have a chance to do the same thing again this year. Game is over if they can score both those runners who are on the pond. Blocked by Smithwick.
Good job just to keep that in front. Keep those runners from advancing.
Swing and a miss. First time Fike has gotten into some trouble after 2 impressive innings in his Oklahoma State debut. Went 6 up, 6 down, then back-to-back singles to start this 8th. A drive into center, playable for Richie. They will tag the runner Gamble. He goes second to third. Throw gets all the way in toward the catcher, but not far enough for the runner and Dayton Taki to go to second. Back to the top of the order. We'll get a pinch hitter here. Alec Blair came in as a defensive replacement last night for Oklahoma. He'll get his first chance in the lineup as he replaces Walk at the top of the order. Former two-sport athlete Alec Blair recently announced he's leaving the basketball team, just a baseball guy now.
Well, not the guy you want to play in horse if you're
No.
on the baseball team.
A chopper that will get through. Alec Blair wastes no time picking up a ribby. They go first to third. The throw is in time. They got him. Blair takes seconds as the first out of the inning is recorded on the put out on a nice throw from T.P. Wentworth.
Yeah, beautifully done. It looks like it. Taki may have held at second base. Might have been the right call because, yeah, by the time Wentworth had picked this up, Taki was barely getting around the bag. And a great throw, great tag applied by Mayola at third base. And Taki is out by a couple of steps. And that will be it for Kai Fike.
Was the second out of the inning. He did have that fly out earlier from Kyle Branch. So 2 2/3 for Fike. He exits in a 9-run game. Oklahoma State just trying to get one more chance in the top half of the ninth. We'll bring in a new reliever. We'll get our first look on the Cowboy side of Bryce LeBlanc. A big lefty JUCO transfer. See if he can keep this game going and send us to a ninth inning. Had the 10-run rule in effect. That was something that came into play in our first game of the day. Vanderbilt getting the win and could come into play here. Not if Bryce LeBlanc has anything to say about it. We'll set you up on the new pitcher for the Cowboys when we come back. We'll see here in Bedlam. Have to do it against a new pitcher, Bryce LeBlanc. Fourth pitcher of the day for Josh Holliday's Cowboys. Making his D1 debut. 7 starts in 9 appearances at the JUCO level last year for Odessa College in Texas. Big strikeout guy too, Pat. 32 punch-outs in just over 27 innings.
Yeah. He is a imposing presence at 6'7". 128-pound lefty, and gives Josh Holliday one more option from that left side. But yeah, good stuff. Fastball sits low 90s. 3-pitch mix. Breaking pitch, changeup, and a little tall drink of water.
No doubt. Faces a pinch hitter here. The lefty fouls it off. Connor Larkin, freshman from Colorado, Gatorade State Player of the Year there at Cherry Creek High School. Just outside on 0-2. Bryce LeBlanc, they call him Fried Bryce. He is apparently an outstanding chef. And that is a nickname I am incredibly jealous of. Wow. Jam shot, trouble, but caught. Great job by Mayola to range to his left. Fried Bryce comes in, puts out the fire. And we will play a 9th inning here from Globe Life Field. 10-1 lead for Oklahoma. They've been dominant here in Bedlam, but the Pokes will get one more chance at the plate. With a new pitcher on the bump, Reed Hensley looking to shut it down for Oklahoma. He was in a setup role last year, 6th-year senior. As much as there are a lot of newcomers on this Oklahoma pitching staff, great for Skip Johnson to have a mainstay like Reed Hensley back.
Yeah, one of those old guys. 6 years in college. And how about that? And a solid arm, too. Had a great 2025. 2.94 earned run average. Opponents only hit 205 against him. 37 strikeouts last season, but a really deep pitch arsenal. 4 pitches. You often don't see that Kind of a bullpen arm, but that's what Hensley brings.
Look at the bottom of the order here for Oklahoma State. Both coaches somewhat emptying out the bench. Danny Wallace, freshman from Nebraska. They'll dig in here as a pinch hitter. Big wave and a miss from Wallace, and it's 0-2. And with no Dylan Crooks in Norman anymore, there's certainly a competition there who will be the closer for OU. Haven't really seen that come into play, though, because the Sooners have been so good to start the season. Curveball outside. 10 runs apiece in each of the first 2 games. 20-4, the aggregate.
That's been impressive. A lot of offense and not giving up a lot of runs. That's a pretty good combination to win some ball games.
Work at the 2-2. Called strike 3. Good start from Hensley. Pumps in the 15th strikeout for Oklahoma pitching today.
I just painted that fastball down and away, and Wallace just gets locked up. Set it up well. A couple of breaking pitches before and finishes with that fastball down.
It's been a tough day at the office for Garrett Scholl. They will not pinch for him. Let the switch hitter take another crack at it. 3 Ks for Scholl. Showed off his power yesterday, though, and he wraps one right to the first baseman. Dayton Taki takes it to the bag himself, and Oklahoma is an out away. Certainly better days ahead here for Oklahoma State, Pat, but really the story from the non-ranked teams in this Globe Life Showcase to start the season, it's been the play of Oklahoma. Could not have looked any better than they have day 1 and day 2.
Yeah, they are out of the gate quick, and that's exactly what you'd expect from a Skip Johnson coach team. But boy, this team is putting together an offensive showcase. And they just continue to put up some crooked numbers on the scoreboard. Tip of the hat to that coaching staff: Reggie Willits, Russell Raley, longtime coach Britt Bono, and they have come out of the gate storming.
2-0 count here to T.P. Wentworth. 2A player for the Pokes. Haven't gotten a chance to see him pitch yet. Did a little bit of both at Clemson last year as a freshman. Takes a called strike. Chopper to the right side. This should do it. Little bobble, a recollect, and that's it. 350th edition of Bedlam. It was domination from the start. Oklahoma with a 10-1 beatdown of their rivals from Stillwater.
Well, just a well-played game by the Sooners, and it started right off the bat with L.J. Mercurius taking the mound and just establishing dominance from that pitcher's mound. It made it difficult for those Oklahoma State hitters today. They just did not respond, and the Sooners piled up the strikeouts as a staff. 16 Ks on the day for Mercurius, Catalano, and Hensley. Outstanding job, and then the offense supplied plenty of power and runs as well.
So the Oklahoma fans loving what they're seeing so far. 2-0, and they will play for the Shriners Children's title tomorrow.